It's been a volatile few months for the global financial markets. How would you characterize emerging and frontier markets, how they've fared year to date?
Yeah, no, I think volatile is an understatement, but it's I think Christine really explained it well, that markets move based on expectations, right? And so in order to understand market performance year to date, where basically frontier and emerging markets are up around 9%, S&P is just slightly negative to flat. You just got to look at what people were expecting at the start of the year and what actually happened, right? And actually at the start of the year, everyone was expecting some level of tariffs, right? And of course, the Liberation Day announcements were much worse than expected. But actually where we are now, more or less in line with expectation, really. So I don't think it's a huge surprise that markets are sort of relatively strong, I would guess, more than people might think, given the barrage of negative headlines. But of course, I think what has changed versus expectations is just quite the level of sort of chaos and uncertainty coming out of the US. And that's driven to obviously the Treasury sell-offs, really major moves in global currencies compared to the dollar, which obviously gives a great tailwind for emerging and frontier markets. And I think that's really the sort of narrative that we would expect to continue with, of course, US still looks quite expensive at 20 times PE, with emerging markets trading around 12 times, despite better earnings growth, much better GDP growth. So I think that's probably the main story. But of course, the other huge driver that has changed compared to expectations at the start of the year was, as Anders said, this DeepSeek discovery in China. That, one of the narratives about China is it because they didn't have chips, they can't compete, they're going to fall behind US on tech. But actually, that could not be further from the truth. It's not just DeepSeek, it's BYD cars. I mean, it's really, really everything. So I think that's probably the main reason, if you want to understand why emerging markets have actually outperformed. It's the level of chaos in US, but then also this sort of tech revelations coming out of China.